Folks, thank you so much for doing this interview with me today. We were just talking before we started. You were saying you only got a couple of hours sleep. You're 3 hours behind. Like, where were you guys beforehand?
Vancouver. We just flew from Vancouver last night, and 3 hours behind, right? And I feel pretty exhausted.
You got the coffee. I hate
coffee. That's all I need to.
I hate red eyes. I can't do that time zone thing. How you holding up?
I'm hanging in there, doing my best. I'm not as needing to run on my life on coffee as this one, but I just take some vitamins and we're good.
I wish you guys were here because as we speak, we had Pride Weekend here in Toronto, and oh my goodness, the weather was perfect. The crowd was out. It was a rainbow party. Did you guys get a chance to see any of it on the news or whatever? No?
No, unfortunately not. We were flying most of the day, like 4.5 hours, right? And it was the time of the parade, I'm assuming, and we just came pretty late. Caught a cab, and we just didn't get any chance to see it, but I'm sure it was awesome. I heard it was awesome. You told us before, prior to the interview, so I'm excited to watch some footage.
Yeah, no, it was great. You know what would have been better, too, if we could have used some of your music in the parade, too, because your music would fit in that, because it is about love, celebration, so many different things. And, of course, I love that 80s vibe that you guys got going there. But I want to ask how this whole thing started, how you guys met. We'll start with you. How did you guys meet?
Well, yeah. We met in my hometown of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Al's from Moscow, so it was pretty random that she came to Canada, came to Saskatoon, and we actually had mutual friends. And we were sitting around a table at a restaurant, and we started chatting about music, and all of a sudden she was just like, "You have a studio? You play music? Can we play music together?" I'm like, Let's do it. So, she came into my studio and sat down at the piano and played some amazing classical stuff. And I was just like, whoa, who is this girl? And we wrote a song that night.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. The immigrating from Moscow to Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, musically, what were you listening to back then, and why did you move?
It's interesting. I grew up in an environment of classical music. My grandma is opera singer, and I just grew up in a theater of opera and ballet since I was 2 years old. And I listen a lot of French music, like French pop of 80s, 70s. Got influenced by that a lot. Lots of European music, and I didn't know much about American. When I came in, it just kind of poured into me, and I just, oh my God, 80s! I love it. I gotta play something like that. Yeah.
But why did you move to Canada?
Yeah. Well, I tried to do a degree in Saskatoon. That's how we met. And it was, I would say it's probably fate. Sometimes when you just get some events in your life and it just something leads you there. And I ended up in Saskatoon. I didn't even want to go to that party, but I was forced to go. I ended up there and I met him.
Okay, now I want to go a little bit deeper. Was he just sitting there? Like, how did you guys meet?
Yeah, well, it was a party that I didn't want to go, as I said, right. But I ended up there. I'm just like, okay, fine. I was pretty bored. People were just kind of chatting around. I'm just like, okay, I'm pretty bored. What should I do? I see the guy in the corner. I'm just like, he's kind of sitting by himself too, probably bored. I'm just like, okay, I might as well just have a conversation. And then he's like, hey, my name is, and then he just said, I'm a sound engineer. I have a studio. I'm just like, no way. I just wrote a song, and I just gotta use this chance, absolutely. And it was pretty quick, honestly. I think within 2-3 days, we just scheduled an appointment. I just came in, started playing, and it just clicked. It just clicked. I played with so many people before, but the way we sing together is so synchronized. It's like vibrating in your head. You just feel like, yeah, it's so right. And when I start something, he finishes it, and it's great. Musically, it's great. Did you have that 80s vibe also, or was there something that you picked up from her?
I was experimenting with a bunch of synthesizers and drum machines, and I had alternative bands before that, and I've always been fascinated with a lot of 80s musicians like Peter Gabriel and bands like New Order, and so that sound was like kind of always in the background of my head, and just going, I need somebody that can help me explore that medium and that palette, if you say. And when Al sat down at the piano and we kind of went, well, what do we want it to sound like? She gave me a song, and it was already in that genre that it was already floating in the back of my brain. I'm like, okay, this is definitely something we should explore then.
Something else that you guys have done, which I think is really cool, when we talk about the 80s, was really around when the birth of music videos. You guys know how to do your videos very well with your music, which reminds me about back in the day. Like, who do you guys pick for like directors and stuff?
We've had some pretty great luck from the universe. When we were still indie, we had a great video director from Los Angeles named Devin Shiro, and we were actually nominated for a couple of indie video awards in Los Angeles for those. And then when we got picked up with 604, we got to work with just amazing people. Emma Higgins did the first video for Fantasy, and just like her vision of this like alternate universe of a college experience in this kind of secret society thing that was happening, and it was like mind blowing when she came up with the concept. And
It was.
yeah, do you want to talk about Gabe and
Yeah, I want to talk about your acting too. You did a great job also.
Gabriel, my friend.
yeah, we were talking about
Yeah,
fantasy there. Yeah.
Yeah, fantasy or
Fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantasy was great. Yeah. Yeah, acting. It was so natural, honestly. I just read a script and I was like, I feel it. It resonates with the song. I'm in, and I don't know. We just were ourselves, I would say. I didn't even say it was much of an acting going on. They just told us, yeah, stay there, be there. Just imagine you're this person, and here you go.
What's the song about? Fantasy.
Well, that's a good question. There's a bit of unrequited love in it. There's a little bit of delusion. There's a little bit of creating a fantasy of how you hoped a love would be, and a connection with somebody, and playing that out in your mind can be addicting. And in a world where we're constantly, on our cell phones or playing computer games, and having that addiction to this fantasy world, it was also kind of an interesting way to approach a song or a love relationship, really. I don't know. What is it to you?
Well, imagine you love someone so much, and it's so deep, and it's inside your head. It's like a fantasy, something that maybe cannot happen in reality. Or maybe you have some borders, and all you can do, just imagine in your head and your dreams that this person, how you touching, kissing, how you talking, all those amazing things. And what would you do? Would you? It's like in Matrix, right? Would you choose reality, or would you stay in your fantasy?
Great. I love that. I love that. But speaking of the word fantasy, that really works into the next video and song that you guys have out right now. The song is called
Ocean Clear, yeah.
Okay, when I first saw this, and I'm going to talk about the video first before we talk about the meaning, I thought about that damn fish movie that won the Academy Award that I wasn't a fan of, but I'm a fan of this. And the reason why is because as soon as you watch it, and I don't want to give too much away, it's almost like you're thinking one thing, but within the first 40 seconds, it becomes something else completely different. Do you want to describe what this is about?
It's about unconditional love on all different levels, We just try to use that movie as an idea or inspiration. Should I name it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shape of Water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a very interesting movie, and thanks Jonathan referred this movie to us, because I honestly didn't even know about that movie before, and he just like, I love this movie, watch it. I watched it and it clicked. And then we talked to our amazing director Gabriel Edelman, and it was awesome. We just all clicked on that. We was like, yeah, let's work on it. Let's write down something inspired by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
Well, it's also a little bit of an homage to a pretty amazing '80s movies
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
E.T. There's
Yeah.
some there's some kind of parallels where you find this this entity that needs your help, and you unconditionally help it, and bring it back to life and set it free. And there's also the classic, I'm not going to give too much away, but
No, they need to watch it, so we'll leave it to that there.
You gotta watch it.
But when you have these great visuals and great songs, what is it like performing this live for you guys?
Well, live, we're a pretty bit of a multi-dimensional and multimedia band where we have we've created a visual and video projection to go along with the songs.
Figured that.
Yeah, we like melding all three kind of worlds together: the visual, the sonic, and the feeling of the experience of being live and creating an atmosphere for the audience. So
Duran Duran was great doing that.
they were one of the first that definitely started that. And Peter Gabriel, in my mind too, was his live shows were so interactive and exploratory and just pushing the envelopes of art to me. So
Completely.
Yeah.
We're saying an album future coming up soon.
Forthcoming, yeah. We don't know how soon it is, but we know that it's soon. So I just try to be intriguing here. Sometime maybe fallish. I don't know.
Fingers crossed. But in the meantime, though, where do we find you guys when you guys are performing, releasing new music, social media? Where do we go?
Well, some of the what do we got there? We got the website sunsetkidsmusic, right? .com or .ca? It's .ca, right?
Sunsetmusic.com.
.com, right?
No, over.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my god.
I know.
You
It's
never
terrible.
know. It could be either one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. We are Canadian act, right?
That's right.
The Instagram, Sunset Kids Music, Facebook Kids is Sunset Kids Music as well.
We on Twitter as well. If
yeah.
anybody loves Twitter, I'm still there. I'm just still posting, so please join.
Yeah, and as far as shows, we're working on getting a fall tour together, but immediately we have a music festival if you're in the Squamish, Vancouver area. It's called the Constellation Music Festival, and we're pretty excited to play with that alongside Serena Ryder in the Bahamas, and it's gonna be really cool summer festival. It's pretty much Vancouver's, only summer music festival that's happening right now, other than the jazz festival, of course, which is two different things. But yeah, so we're very stoked to play that.
Any chance you guys ever going back to Moscow to play?
I don't know yet.
yeah.
Didn't schmooze my connection there yet, but maybe.
Yeah.
You never know.
All right. Fingers crossed. Folks,
Yeah.
thank you so much for this interview. Thanks for the great music. And let's talk again when the album comes out.
That sounds
For sure.
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rudy.